Hi, in this tutorial video we're going to look at how to create a horizontal navigation bar or menu for a website. So if we have a look at this page, I've already got an example of what we're going to create here. I'll just zoom in a little bit. So we have a horizontal navigation bar, and we have these individual buttons on the navigation bar as well. So when we hover over, the background color changes, and each of these buttons link to a different page on the website. And that's just running horizontally across the top of the screen. This could be added below a header or at the very top of the page. It can be above or below a header section. And a little bit of a modification to the code could also make this a vertical sidebar menu as well. So it can be customized in a number of different ways. But let's have a look at how to write the code for this. So I'll just close that, and we've got an empty web page here. So this is my HTML code on the left. We've just got the body section, which is currently empty, and it's linked to a CSS file called theme.css, which I have over here on the right, where we'll add all our CSS code. So in the body section, what I'm going to do first is use the nav tag to add a nav section. So this will contain our menu. And then I'm going to create an unordered list with a number of list items that will contain each link on the menu. So we'll just use the unordered list tag, or UL. And then in this unordered list, we're going to create some list items. So I had 3 buttons on my menu. Oops. So I'll create 3 list items. And then in each list item will have the links. So I'll create one here for the home page. I'll just copy that, paste that below. We'll have an about page, and then another one here for a contact us page. Okay, so there we go. We've got the nav section, an unordered list, and 3 list items, with each list item containing a link using the ahref tag. So we've got our link and the text that will display on that link. Now, in our CSS code, we could go and then apply a theme to list items and unordered lists, but we might want to have other lists, other unordered lists and list items on this web page that we don't necessarily need to or want to apply that theme to. So what we should do is use classes. So I don't need to give nav a class because there's only going to be one nav on this page, but I might give my unordered list a class name. So I'll say class equals, and I'm just going to call it menu. And I could give the list items a class as well, but what I'll actually do is I'll apply a theme to list items that only belong to the menu class. All right, so I don't really need to give the list items a class, but I will give my links a class because I'm going to apply a theme to those that I don't necessarily want to apply to all links on the page. So I'll just call these button. All right, so each link using the A tag or anchor tag has a class of button. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now, over here on the right hand side, we'll start writing the CSS code. If we go back and refresh the page, that's what it looks like at the moment, just an unordered bullet point vertical list. So, first what we'll do is I want this menu to be touching the edges of the page. I don't want any white sort of border around the page. So for the body, I'm going to add a margin of 0. Second thing I'll do is I'll set the nav element. I'll say width 100%, and I'll say float left. Now this could be changed if you wanted it to be a vertical menu. You might set the width to maybe like 20% or 30%, and or probably less than that. But you'd still keep float left there. All right, now for my unordered list, it uses the class called menu. So I'm going to say .menu. And for my unordered list that uses the menu class, I'm also going to give that a margin of 0. but I'm going to have some padding of 8 pixels. I'm going to set the height to 21 pixels. Background color. I'm going to use this color code here for sort of a bluish purple color, and this is going to be for the background of the menu. So the menu is going to spread across the top of the page. It's going to take the width of the page, and it's going to have some padding and a height of 21 pixels and that particular background color. All right, so we've refreshed the page. That's what we've got so far. That's the menu bar up the top of the page, but we now need to get these links in there and theme those. So now we can apply a theme to these list items. All right, but we don't want to apply a theme to every list item that's on the web page if we add lists on the page. So what we'll do is just say we'll only apply a theme to list items that belong to the menu class. So these list items belong to an unordered list using the menu class, so this theme will apply to just those. We'll say display inline. That's the first thing we do to get these list items to go horizontally. So now they're going across the menu rather than down. All right, so that's the first step. Then for those individual buttons here, these links, we can start to give those a theme. So we can change get rid of the underlines, we can change the font, the links color, padding, and so on. All right, so we'll say dot button because the links use the button class. We'll say font family, Arial. We'll say font size, we'll go 1. We could make it a bit bigger if we wanted to. Maybe 1.5. Let's have a look. No, we'll go with 1. Maybe 1.2 or something like that. Okay, font style, none. We'll set the color to white. Yep. Padding, 8 pixels. And if we want to get rid of that underline on all the links, we'll say text decoration, none. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. White links with no underlines and a bit of padding to space them out. Okay. Now, the links are using the links with the A tag or the A element. Those are what have the class button. And remember that links can be in different states. They can be just a link with nothing happening to it, or they can be a link that has the mouse hovering over them, or they can be a link that's been visited or is currently being clicked on, so active. So we can apply a theme to those different states for our links. So what we might do is apply a theme to the link in its normal state. So we'll set the background color to the same color as the background of the menu when the link is just in its normal state. So when the mouse isn't hovering over the link or button, it's just going to be the normal color, the same color as the background color. Okay, and the color of the text as well will be the same. All right, so if we go back and refresh, we won't see any difference there. All right, but if we add button hover, we can specify maybe a different background color for when we hover over these buttons when they're in a hover state. So I'll say background color, and I'm going to use a lighter shade of purple or blue using this color code. And if I wanted, I could change the color of the text as well. I could maybe make it like a gray or a black. But if we go back and refresh the page, that's what happens. All right, now there's a few little things that we might need to do here. We might need to add a little bit of padding, or maybe change the height of the navbar, or the menu, sorry. So I think I set that to 21 pixels, so we could just reduce that a little bit. And all of this will depend on how much padding and margins and things like that you have across the page. It can also do with the size of the font. So as you apply this theme, it might be a little bit different for you. You might use different amounts of padding or margin, different font sizes, different border thicknesses if you set a border. So when you do that, just make sure that you factor that into your widths and your heights of different elements. You might need to change those a little bit. And you don't have to use pixel values as well. You can use percentages or other units for your sizes. So that's it. I would probably make this menu a little bit bigger, maybe make the font a bit bigger, make the buttons a little bit bigger and the height a bit taller. But that's it. That's how you can create a navigation bar with buttons and then apply a hover effect to those buttons. That's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching.